The story of what really led to the firing of a popular CBC radio host, Jian Ghomeshi, keeps developing. Today, the CBC released a statement saying last week they saw graphic evidence he had caused physical injury to a woman. Ghomeshi's high-profile Toronto PR firm is also explaining today why they dropped him. Mike Drolet reports on the downfall of a guy who was once the CBC's golden boy.
The kind of genre mix that might make record execs nervous. And
Jian Ghomeshi's brand was considered bulletproof. He was arguably the biggest star at the CBC, and he knew it. Now we're learning how it all unraveled. In a memo to staff, the CBC says it was shown graphic evidence that he had caused physical injury to a woman. Ghomeshi has maintained his adventurous forms of sex were consensual. Sources say Ghomeshi lied to his crisis management team, Navigator, about how many women could potentially come forward. The number is now at 9. And his infamous Facebook rant, he wrote it on his own, with no input from his advisors. Until finally, late yesterday, Navigator decided its moral code precluded the company from continuing to represent Ghomeshi, and they cut ties with the now former star.
Not unheard of at all.
This crisis management expert says most companies follow a code of ethics that centers around honesty. Lying often leaves them with no other option but to sever ties.
And if you're not getting accurate information, you can't do your job as a communications practitioner. You can't help that person or that company out of the situation that they're in.
Since Ghomeshi wrote about one jilted ex-girlfriend saying any allegations against him were false and that his sexual encounters were consensual, several women have independently come forward. Lawyer Reva Seth wrote a blog about a 2002 encounter with Ghomeshi. She wrote, in part, "Jian had his hands around my throat. Why didn't she or any of the other alleged victims go to the police?" Actress Lucy de Couture said what many have. Nobody would have believed them.
When I told people, friends, that I'd had an altercation with Jian, 9 times out of 10, they would say, "You're joking." This is over, since Sunday.
Now the question is, are there more women? And if so, how many? And if he had pictures and emails, is there more? An anonymous Twitter user with the handle Big Ears Teddy, a reference to a cherished Ghomeshi doll, wrote in April, Ghomeshi keeps an impressive anthology of videos and photos of the young girls he chokes out. Meanwhile, Ghomeshi isn't talking, preferring for the first time in a long time to stay out of the spotlight. Mike Drolet, Global News, Toronto.